Great stuff, Alan. Thank you very much indeed. Great to see negawatts featuring, and also a connection to the previous speaker, Eugene from the ESB, with the ability to forecast your demand. So I'm going to introduce you now to Adrian McCarthy from GSK in Dungarvan. In terms of the content of the presentation, he's going to talk a little bit about the Kaizen event and the 4-year plan, which resulted in a 7% reduction in CO2. So I think quite an interesting journey, and just call on Adrian now to join us here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adrian McCarthy from GSK Dungarvan. So I'd like to just take you through how we develop our 4-year plan for energy reductions on site. It's what we do in GSK and how it's implemented. I'll just give you a basic introduction to the site, what we do, and how we develop the plans, give you an overview of our energy Kaizen system, and how it can be implemented and varied from site to site, our current projects, our future performance, and a final summary as well. So at GSK Dungarvan, we have 2 sites. There's an OTC site and an oral care site. They're about a quarter of a mile apart in the IDEA industrial site. So overall in GSK Ireland, there's 3 manufacturing sites and shared services in Dublin. So we have Sligo, GSK Cork, and 2 sites in Dungarvan. There's about 1,500 people nationally employed by GSK. 750 of them are in Dungarvan as well, so a very busy site. Just some of the products we produce down there, we have Panadol tablets. This is one of the products. We make 7.5 billion tablets per annum. Kariga tablets, and I've gone further to the products there. There's for a lot more of our products, Polygrip, Solpadeine, Coldrex, Beecham's, etc. You're all very familiar with them, especially when you have a hangover. So these are our goals for GSK globally. So since 2010 we've had a 19% reduction in our CO2 targets, and we're looking for a 25% reduction by 2020, and further out to 2050 we're looking to be carbon neutral. We also have water reduction targets and recycling and waste target reductions as well. So on to the Kaizen, which is our method of achieving our targets and achieving our goals and achieving our projects. So the definition of Kaizen, it's Japanese for improvement, and it's for business in the workplace, and it's by standardizing and improving methods and processes on site to eliminate waste, and it involves all from the very top general management, managers, engineers, operators, all the way through. So this is what our site energy Kaizen, how it's delivered. So depending on site, but usually for sites it'll be a 5-day event, and we'll be very focused on all the energy users on the site. So we've involvement from all, as I said, from management on site, supervisors, the technical side, engineers, technicians, out of operators, people on the floor, people who work with the processes. As well as that, then we'll have external energy consultants, we'll have vendors for some of the systems on site, HVAC experts, and we're all brought in for the full week and the process. GSK have over 70 of these events performed already. It's a rollout every 4 years to the site. So not only does it kickstart energy saving and projects, it'll also refresh them as well for new ideas and new processes. So there's, on average, there's a 20 to 30% saving found on sites where this is being developed. So basically, this is one of the, just sort of format for a week. How this is going to be designed for each site, going to be chopped and changed slightly, but the main parts of it will be day one would be diagnosis, so it'll be looking at opportunities and ideas on site. Day two will be, there's a lot of walk around, visit the sites, talking to people on the floor. We'll break out into teams, looking at different opportunities. Day 3, we'll be looking at new technologies that are out there and scoping out the projects which have been done, or which we're looking at. Again, on Day 4, we'll be quantifying and tracking what we've come up with during the week. So it's sort of pulling the projects together, putting capital spend onto them, estimates, timeframes, manpower, when they would fit in with the schedule over the next number of years on site. And the final day would be sort of an outbrief and presentation to the site leadership of what's required and what's needed for the site to achieve the goals over the next number of years. So I'll go through each of the days there in just a bit of detail to give an idea. So initially there's probably about 6 or 8 weeks preparation with the above site team preparing for the Kaizen. So this will be involving developing energy maps and energy surveys on site. So there'll be also analysis of the metering and targeting and such. A lot of sites, especially with the sites with ISO 50001, or also with the EU Energy Directive from last year, will all have recent energy surveys done. And again, surveys will be redone every 4 years. So this Kaizen sort of ties in well with these at the moment to develop further projects. So one of the initial things is a room will be booked for the week. So one of the first projects will be walking the walls. So basically we'll have areas broken out for HVAC, chillers, all the significant energy users on site. We'll have charts of performances for annual performances, weekly data, electrical data, oil usage. So the full room will be covered, and it basically is just walking around in groups, taking areas, looking at the performance, seeing if everyone has their post-its and they put up some ideas of where to see opportunities, what would be an area of interest for further development. Probably about 50% of the people will be from site and 50% will be off site. So there's a good bit of experience and knowledge within the room to identify these opportunities. These will all be gathered in and grouped together for further talks and development later. I'll be looking again for the key areas of focus within the site. So Day 2 again will be, I say, getting out and about into the site. So we'll have identified a number of areas we want to look at. Where we want to look at on site. What projects could be in mind? It might be there could be HVAC specialists who be looking through what areas you can look for air change reductions, humidity control, performance. We could have some of the production equipment where there's opportunities again for, we could have the operators and technicians who are working on that equipment who are sort of really close to the equipment to know the flaws with it and where the opportunities are. So it's when you get the good mixture of people together, it's good to get down, and when everyone has a full week dedicated to this, they have the time and the opportunity to talk and develop ideas and do some brainstorming. Again, we'll probably split up into groups, and you'll might be 3 or 4 groups depending on the size of the Kaizen team, and they'll get different areas identified to go out, and it'll be a good mixture between internal staff and external consultants, and then the tours around. So Day 3 again will be looking at, there could be a lot of prep work done on sort of HVAC. Could be any of the last number of recent surveys that were done. If there's any improvements that have been made, is there any further improvements? If there's any updates to standards which allow for further energy improvement. They'll be looking at renewable energy, so we could have someone lined up. In our own one, we had solar PV was an area we were looking at. So we had a discussion on that about completing desktop surveys and what the opportunities were there. Specialists on chilling, on the performance of the chillers and how to improve them. So this is where a lot of the consultants and vendors will come in and have their say and give their opportunities and see what's the newest technologies at the moment in the market and how it can be approved. Again, we'll break out in the afternoon then into focus energy groups to look at specific areas within the site. So all the time we have someone collating information and gathering up all the information within the site to develop projects and plans for this. So this is what we developed, or actually I never mentioned our Kaizen happened in Dungarvan in December 2013, so we're midway, we're 2 years into the 4-year process at the moment. So these are savings that were identified in CO2. So on site, it's probably about 16,000 tonnes of CO2 in 2013 is what site emissions were. And we developed opportunities at the time for 72% reduction on that within the 4 years. As you can see, renewables took up a large chunk of that. At present, we're in construction for 4 megawatt wood chip site to replace 5 oil burners. We have full planning permission for a 2.3 megawatt wind turbine, and we have desktop surveys done for solar PV. So there's, renewables is going to be a large chunk of what the performance is going to be in the years to come. I can see HVAC. The site, there's 2 different sites. They're about 30 years old. Now there has been a lot of extensions over the years, so you can see the difference in the quality and the design and the efficiency of the HVAC systems from the recent implementations compared to the initial ones which were put in 30 years ago. So a lot of the older HVAC would have been full fresh air, full extract, so it would have been a very high heat load in winter time as well to heat the site. So it's about upgrading them to restock units and saving the energy there, and also reducing from 12 air changes down to 10 air changes, working closely with a lot of the SAI, a lot of their information talks during the year, and their LIN, Large Industry Energy Network. Great information there as well to help us develop HVAC plans. And again, there's other areas, electrical, lighting and utilities and steam, which were developed. Let's just show some of the performance we've had since in 2014. We had a number of extensions on site, which were, we had 5.4% in increases. And again, we had 11.5% decreases in energy consumption to offset that. On to 2015, again, we had further extensions on site with another 7.2% in increases. We had 8.3% in decreases due to the projects which were implemented. The demo project was, I think, was about 53 projects we actually identified. Now these ranged from high capital, like wind turbine, wood chip, boiler, but there were also very low capital projects as well. There's a lot of like energy metrics, how we work on site, and there was a full diversity and range of projects which were completed on site and found. So between projects from 2014 and 2015, we had a 20% decrease, which offset the 15% in energy increases. So we have an aerial shot there of the OTC site and the OC site, and you can see the green field in the centre is where the current construction is on for the wood chip site. So it'll be supplying steam to both sites. Again, it's just sort of some of the projects which we're implementing on site are probably hard to read at the moment, but it just shows the diversity. A lot of like steam trap upgrades, condensate recovery unit upgrades. There was a lot of inefficient oil units, dehumidification, energy purge units on our dehumidification on our HVAC, HVAC reduction, HVAC upgrades, LED lighting upgrades, pump surveys and upgrades, enthalpy control on HVAC. Again, there's a complete range, as well as the renewables with the wood chip and turbine and solar PV. So just artistic impression of our wood chip boiler, which is currently under construction. We should have it built by September and fully operational by mid-November, hopefully. And that'll be this is going to be the most significant reduction to our CO2 in the coming years. So this is what we're looking for our future performance. So again, we're continually working on energy projects, which we're working with on our projects we've found on site between 2014 up to 2018. And we'll hope to have a rerun of our energy Kaizen by end of 2017 again, to have another 4-year project plan ahead. See the biomass steam boiler for Q4 this year is going to have a 33% reduction in our CO2. Our wind turbine, hopefully really starting construction at 2017, so it'll be another 15% and another 8 to 10% of solar PV, which we've identified. Now there's other future opportunities out there: organic ranking cycles, biomass ABO. Their future technologies mightn't be as efficient at the moment to put in, but we'll know this probably in the next Kaizen, as technology develops and costs come down, that'll be where we'll probably hopefully be able to develop them in, and hopefully head towards carbon neutral. Our Cork site are having another run of their energy Kaizen in April, and we're actually joining up together with Sligo and South Dungarvan, and we're going to start our plan for hopefully to have GSK carbon neutral for Ireland. So that's our next target will be hopefully aiming towards. So just a summary really of the Kaizen event itself. Again, it's as I said, it's cross-functional from vendors, specialists, local experts, and site leadership. And when we do get the full plan together, there's all the tools there for the year. All the projects are planned out, and we can give a presentation at the end of the week towards the site leadership, show what capital expenditure, what resources we need to implement this plan. Now, as I said, there was 53 projects were identified, with another 173 JDIs, which are GSK's language is just do it's, or probably quick wins. So a lot of these were low capital projects that were identified that could be implemented quickly without any capital costs, and we'll have with 173 of them, we're still going to have a significant saving and gain. Again, it's a collaboration across the site, and what it did was actually was build together an energy culture on site, and it really kicked in energy on site. It has everyone talking and everyone interested. When you have people from the floor, from operators and technicians who usually aren't involved in energy, they're developing plans and they're developing projects, then they're encouraged and they feel enthusiastic about it, and they sort of feed out among their groups to push through other energy projects and energy targets in their own areas. Like one of the projects was our sweep system. Was shut down weekends, evenings, in production. So basically, you could have come in before at a weekend if some area might only be working Monday to Friday, and you'd see conveyors still left on, or there might be a heat tunnel left on, and things like that. So we've all standardised across for all areas to have a checklist for someone to sign off at the end of every shift, and if they're going on breaks that they'll run through and easy switch off compressed air to avoid any leaks, and the electrical and what can be switched off or can't be switched off. So when you get people involved in that, they become more energy conscious and they can develop a lot further on site. Again, the cross-functionality of the team from different vendors and that on site. Again, you can see the diverse range of the projects which can be found and can be implemented, and there's great discussions and ideas that can come up with the brainstorming on site. It can be easily adapted, as there was over 70 sites GSK globally have implemented this in and are doing second rounds at present as well. So it can be done, and a lot of different sites, people who have sites here, I think is a great method for finding projects and delivering them on site. So we found 72% of CO2 savings. We're on target at the moment to get 62% reduction by the end of 2018. With all these be implemented, hopefully they will. So that was it. Thank you. Thanks for your attention.